So Vision 2030 Jamaica promotes corporate social responsibility, CSR, the integration of sustainable development in business practices. Social responsibility provides a framework for ethics and accountability for all. This morning, we are discussing with communication strategist, all of this, Kahmile Reid, and we welcome her to Smile Jamaica now. Hi, Kahmile, good morning.
Hey, Kahmile.
Hi, good morning.
Good to
Thank you for
have
having
you.
me.
Good to have you. So we're talking about efforts that impact people, profit, and planet. Usually when business think about business, they think about bottom line. But CSR, if executed properly, should tie right in and contribute to that bottom line, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so when we talk about CSR, tell us what we're talking about, because I think it's a bit misunderstood in Jamaica.
Well, yes, thank you for that question, Simone. So, a business, as you rightly said, sometimes they appear not to care about people, but just about profit. But the first responsibility of a business is to make a profit, right? It is important that they make a profit in order to stay in business. So they stay in business, they create employment, they pay their taxes. So that has to be their first priority. CSR is second, and CSR is their contribution to that society in which they operate. You'll find that companies that have an impact on society, for example, an impact on the environment, for example, an oil company, they define CSR as taking responsibility for their impact on society. But what CSR is not, and what it is misunderstood for, it is not charity, right? It works best, as you just said, when there's a win-win-win situation, when CSR is engineered in such a way that it benefits people, profit, and planet. And companies are no longer about the money, just about the profit, just about the bottom line. They have to incorporate CSR in their growth strategy. And the thing about CSR is that when you do incorporate it well in your strategy, a company is they're able to sell their products at a better price. They're able to do less work in advertising. And why do I say that about the advertising aspect? Because they do so well and they plant so much goodwill with their CSR activities. Their customers are like an army of sales representatives.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I just got from what you said. So, all right, I have corporate responsibility. I'm going to help somebody do something from a business standpoint, but also that what I'm going to help somebody do something must help my business too. No.
Right.
That's
Yes, absolutely. So, okay, so CSR, you were going to say something, Simone?
no.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, so CSR practiced in Jamaica, you'll see CSR being incorporated into a lot of our very successful companies. So you'll have, for example, an NCB. NCB declared many years ago that they want to be the transformational financial servicing in the Caribbean through digital transformation. And you see them integrating that into their CSR policy by supporting secondary school students, by absorbing the cost for their POB, their principles of business, their management studies, their IT subjects. Why? Because this is the talent pool from which they will draw their staff members. They are contributing to society in one aspect. They are investing in their talent pool in another aspect, and they're investing in their ability to make profit. So it's a win-win-win situation for them. So that's just one example of a company doing CSR well.
It's the seamlessness of it, I think, that has benefited many Jamaican companies who do it well. It's almost a part of their DNA. I think about Grace Kennedy. It's good for Jamaica. It's good for Grace Kennedy and all their CSR efforts pour in that direction. We tend to find a lot of folks in Jamaica looking to education, looking to sports, looking to health, developmental elements. But do we often get it confused, Kahmile? Because for a lot of companies, CSR is about a donation and a picture and a, you want a picture, let me pose for you. Take a picture and it's in the paper and you think, oh, I'm doing CSR. But it's not the case.
No, it's not the case. It's actually CSR is a lot deeper than that. CSR is something that it's not measurable. It's only measurable to the extent where a company says, okay, I'm going to spend $20 million on CSR over the next 10 years. But guess what? No, that's a long time, over the next 5 years. So you'll see the benefits of the CSR popping up in their spend on advertising. You'll see it popping up in their spend on their staffing. You'll see it popping up on their spend in relation to recruiting the best talent. They become a company of choice. So everybody wants to work with them. So yes, they can offer competitive rates in terms of employment, but it pops up in so many areas that if you don't invest in CSR, you really are putting yourself in a disadvantageous position, because guess what? When you incorporate CSR into your growth strategy, what you're doing is incorporating your purpose into your growth strategy, and profit follows purpose.
Does that mean that I am not going to help something or someone if I don't see it helping me back in the long run?
Well, it all goes back to what I said in the beginning, Neville. A business exists to make a profit. They don't incorporate CSR in their growth agenda out of the goodness of their corporate hearts. They have stakeholders to answer to. They have employees to answer to. They
Some
didn't go.
sorry,
They're
sorry,
going to.
sorry to jump in, but some companies might be a little bit annoyed with you for that statement because they might feel, no, I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart. I want to help some youth, and I don't need to get anything back. No.
I mean, mind you, many companies are doing that. They're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, but I'm talking about companies that do it really well.
Okay.
It is not, so it is not, no one suffers when it is done well. You don't lose anything. You gain goodwill from the people. You gain goodwill in terms of crisis management. You gain goodwill you have people who are selling your product without you even asking. So in the end, it does benefit them. They're not doing it for the benefit, but it does benefit
And the
them.
truth is they're chicken and egg situation, because a company who doesn't make profits cannot pour millions into a CSR cause. But it is really the reputational goodwill you make from it is invaluable. It's immeasurable, as you said.
Yep.
And that is what it will in turn not only sell your products, help you as a reservoir of goodwill in times of crisis, but also give you those funds to be able to pour in a cause. And then, Kahmile, the notion that this thing has to be a sustainable thing. It's not a one and done. It's something that you
No.
live and incorporate into who you are as an entity.
Which is why it has to be a part of their growth strategy. Otherwise, it is not going to be sustainable. It has to benefit everyone. If the company is doing CSR at its own peril, in a few years, you won't have a company to do it in the first place.
By the way, there's a company that's been given a very hard time for something that they did recently. I'm not certain if there was any corporate social responsibility there, but I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they've been given a really hard time. How do you feel about that? I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah.
And what I have to say about that situation is, in preparation for this interview, I was on the website. I was on the website of the company trying to find a mission, a vision, something that will tell me what the company is about and where they went wrong. I was unable to find such a thing. But generally speaking, a company that has a mission, a vision, a growth strategy, and a content strategy to inform their editorial calendar, a company like that is rarely swayed by a social media fad. Like the one that occurred with you know who.
Yeah.
A company like that is rarely swayed by those things, right? So you will have companies like the big telecommunication company that stepped away because guess what? In their CSR doesn't align with that company's CSR, because if that company is promoting a certain thing, given the crime situation we have in Jamaica, their action is seen to be promoting something that doesn't align with their CSR, then that company is going to step away because they don't want something like that to erode their goodwill, and rightly so. But I mean, a free word of advice: go back to the drawing board. You could go back to the drawing board. Create a content strategy, come up with a mission statement, and align your purpose with that mission, and create your content around that mission.
Right.
And something like this, it won't happen so frequently,
Yeah.
because guess what? If you find your purpose, the profits will follow.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you tiptoed right through all of that just now. Fantastic. Good
I
to see.
still don't know what either of you are talking.
I have a feeling she does. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. Blessings to you and your family. Merry
Thank you
Christmas.
so much.
You'll be the
Thank-
first person I go and tell Merry Christmas, yeah?
Thank you so much for having me this
Yeah, man.
morning.
Our pleasure.
We did a Christmas carol. Thanks, Kahmile. Communication strategist Kahmile Reid. Coming up, we are talking about World Television Day. Soon come.